Hi, we are looking at Slattery Steno High School, and I am Kara Martin. So we're first going to look at the problem. There's some things I know and some things I need to know. So first, I do know that Dr. Smith has been the principal at Slattery High School for 9 years. Ms. Tate has taught there for 2 years. There's some parent concerns about Ms. Tate's classroom. Ms. Tate has received an anonymous email. It's had some highly suggestive comments about her behavior. It's had comments about her course. It's had offensive language in it. And then the final statement that was made, and it was, "Who wants Miss Tate to disappear?" But there are some things I still need to know. What coaching has happened with Miss Tate? Evaluation, observation, specifics. It says that Miss Tate didn't actually follow through with items, but there's nothing on the back end telling us that then this step was taking place next, and this happened next, this happened next. I also need to know what statements were made to the parents that complained about Miss Tate's classroom. Her grading policy, we don't know exactly what it is. We know she's a stricter or more former or more rigorous teacher, she thinks, but what exactly is her grading policy? And finally, what's the technology investigation? Because the threat that Miss Tate, the perceived threat, Miss Tate feels threatened, was sent via an email or over the internet. What's the technology investigation process for that district? So the problem statement. Miss Tate feels threatened by her students, or by some students. She doesn't exactly know that they're hers, but she does have a suspect in mind, and she has communicated this threat with Dr. Smith, and she has communicated the student that she thinks is at fault with Dr. Smith. Dr. Smith now needs to investigate a potential threat of a staff member. And he implied at the end of the case that he would do so with Miss Tate. The proposed plan of action, I think there's about 3 steps that should be taken. First, Dr. Smith needs to contact the technology department. I don't think he needs to be doing anything until technology department has been contacted with the email. Then he needs to do an investigation. Technology might have their own investigation process. We'll get back to that in just a second. Then he needs to come up with a plan of action for Ms. Tate, the students, and the other administrators that are going to be involved. So first, in regards to contacting that tech department, forward the email directly to tech, and first thing in the morning, go talk with tech in person. There are probably 2 things they can do. They're going to end up saying, yes, there's some next steps, here they are, follow them. Or they're going to say, hey, we looked into this, there's nothing we can do. And in that case, he needs to file documentation. He needs to ask others to continue to document what's going on in that classroom. And by others, I mean students, teachers, and all administrators, parents also. After contacting tech, he needs to do his own investigation though too. Miss Tate has said that she's home with her mom, and her mom is 3 hours away, and that she's going to come back in the morning. It probably is best for Miss Tate to just take a couple days off so that she can relax and get herself together. I'm not going to say that Miss Tate is on any kind of leave. I'm going to offer it to Miss Tate if I was Dr. Smith. I'm putting myself in Dr. Smith's role. I'm offering to Miss Tate the chance to stay home with her mom for 2 more days while I cover her class. She has nothing to worry about. She's already 3 hours away anyway. So next, students need to have an investigation too. There needs to be some students that are just randomly questioned, some that have Miss Tate, but also some others that don't have Miss Tate, because there's no proof that this threat came from a student that has her. There also needs to be some type of follow-up with Spencer so that we can delve deeper into this concern of Spencer. There's something going on because Miss Tate did specifically name Spencer. And then for the administrative side, we also need to review the parent complaints that have been filed and review classroom observations that have happened. And finally, the very specific plan that needs to occur, the next steps, Ms. Tate's going to return to teaching as normal. Administration is going to do coaching cycles and observations, not just with her, with all teachers. If we're not documenting, if we're not coaching teachers for one teacher, we're not doing it for anybody else. So we're going to start that observation and coaching cycle. And all of us are going to document. The case said that Ms. Tate has dealt with some behaviors in her classroom that she didn't write up. And maybe it is time for Ms. Tate to do a couple write-ups. It's okay to write students up. Maybe Ms. Tate doesn't feel comfortable writing students up. And we need to investigate that and see why and support her. Why are you not writing students up? This is extreme. Maybe she doesn't know what's extreme. This is an extreme behavior. You aren't supposed to handle this on your own. We're here to support you. We're also going to ensure next that Ms. Tate is following through with the recommendations that we're making through those coaching cycles. If we say that this is what your next step is, we're going to then follow up and make sure that she implemented those next steps. Parents are going to be communicated using a very specific protocol for Ms. Tate and admin. We're going to all follow the same protocol. And we're going to hold students to high behavioral expectations. Ms. Tate's expectations might be super high, and they might just be where we need to hold those students accountable to. And then finally, we're going to have some regular check-ins with Ms. Tate, just informal check-ins, making sure that she's feeling safe because she said she felt threatened. We also are going to do regular documentation checks and allow for student discipline. They will receive consequences for some of their behaviors. Resolution and rationale. So why I did some of the things I did. Coaching. The case specifically said she hasn't successfully implemented any of Dr. Smith's suggestions. So we're going to start a coaching cycle, and we're going to have some documentation and some next steps, and we're going to continue this cycle of observe, plan, reevaluate, reflect, observe, plan, and reevaluate, reflect. We're going to keep that cycle going. Technology. This is a technology-related issue, and in my current district, all things that come through electronic devices go immediately to the technology department because they have protocols that they follow. And there might be some things that they can do and just figure out exactly who it is without us even going any further. In which case, if they can identify the suspect, then we then handle it. We follow the student code of conduct and the disciplinary action. That was a perceived threat, so we will take it from there. Documentation. It also stated that Dr. Smith said, think about last week and try to remember particular incidents of disgruntled students. Or Dr. Smith received numerous calls about Ms. Tate's stringent expectations from parents. But it never stated that this was in writing or that was in writing. There's nothing in writing. So we need to start documenting what's going on and what's happening. Finally, there were several things I was thinking and feeling and valuing. Thinking, where is the evidence throughout this whole case? The only evidence we have is that link that Ms. Tate clicked on and then everything that came on that Facebook page. Principals have no documentation of exactly what they've asked her to do. Nor do they have documentation on the follow-up. Parents have no proof regarding classroom policies. Teacher has no behavioral write-ups. Nobody has evidence of what's going on in the classroom. I'm also feeling like there might be a little bit of privilege at play. The case stated this was an affluent community and that students were mad because they're just now receiving their first B or grade better than an A. It's going to mess up their perfect grades. So, and these are some specialized science courses. These might just be a harder course, and students should expect to just receive a lower grade if they're not doing the level or quality of work Ms. Tate expects from them. I also do value Ms. Tate's safety. She's an important member of our community, and I value her safety just like I value student safety, and I value admin safety, I value custodian staff safety, I value everyone's safety. And when Ms. Tate or one of us feels threatened, then our safety, our community is broken, and we need to ensure that it's a safe community for everybody. And Dr. Smith has been a long-time principal, 9 years, and has been named Principal of the Year several times. So Dr. Smith, has a reputation with this community. They love him. And I think that should be valued in this case. Some things I'm wondering, is there any validity to the concerns of these students? Are they just mad because they're getting low grades and they have to work harder? Or is there some valid concerns? What exactly is being said to the parents after they make these complaints? Are we saying that, yes, okay, I hear what you're saying, thank you for your comments, I'm going to go into the classroom and I'll call you back with further information? And exactly what classroom behaviors were occurring. It was stated in the case that Ms. Tate usually handles the behavior within her classroom and did very little write-ups. So what exact behaviors are occurring inside of her classroom? What are other teachers' experiences with these same students? And then finally, what are Ms. Tate's exact expectations? We still don't know exactly what her expectations are. We just know she has high expectations. To me, that's not a bad thing. So how I apply the knowledge that promotes the success of every student by acting with integrity, with fairness, and in an ethical manner. We're going to look at each one individually. So with integrity, how I was whole and undivided. I wanted documentation on all sides. I wanted to make sure we're sending a consistent message to all parents, and I wanted to make sure that all parties we gathered information from, not just select parties. To be fair and to follow the rules and standards, we're going to go through the technology department first and follow their next steps. Spencer is not treated as a suspect. There's no proof that he actually has done this yet, but I am going to follow up with him. But he is not a suspect. I have to remain fair in this. And then consistent classroom expectations for behavior and for grading, and that's throughout the whole school. Everyone's going to treat each student the same way in the same manner, and our grading policies are going to be consistent. And then finally, how I showed respect for all parties. I allowed Ms. Tate some time away, not as a disciplinary action, but as a proactive, take a break. I know you feel threatened, then maybe you don't need to come here tomorrow. But if you choose to, you are more than welcome to come in. I'm not going to discipline her for feeling threatened and wanting to be at home with her family for a day or two. I'm also going to provide Ms. Tate and all staff, because that's not fair, with some coaching. Nowhere in it is to say that there was follow-up, which is one of the most important pieces of coaching our new teachers, old teachers, all teachers. There needs to be some follow-through, and we need to provide coaching to make teachers, ensure that teachers are continuously growing. And I also respect for all parties. Again, that follow-up with Spencer is important because I respect him. I value him as a student. I value his input. But I also value Ms. Tate and her input and her as a staff member. And that's all. Thank you.